As I'm sure you're all aware, there is a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie coming out on Netflix. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a description of what that's supposed to be like. At least I have not seen it yet. But the idea of it, as far as I'm concerned, is it is a direct sequel to the first movie, which I'm reviewing now. Ignoring every other sequel, it is just a direct follow-up to the 1974 movie. First of all, that's the most unoriginal thing they could have done. Everyone's doing that now. Every horror movie is doing that. They're rebooting their franchise by connecting it to the very first movie and ignoring everything else. So I'm expecting it to be way worse, like in terms of like quality, but better in terms of like, oh wow, that blood looked really good, which is what I'm expecting when I watch this later this week. We'll see. I could be proven wrong. I won't be, but we could be. But it is a direct sequel to that, and that's why I'm watching this one today. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was released in 1974. It was written by Kim Henkel and Toby Cooper, and directed by Toby Cooper. I want to keep this one relatively short. There will be almost no spoilers. Might be a couple spoilers towards the end. I'm sorry. It was released like 50 years ago, so I apologize if you haven't seen it by now. I actually hadn't seen it until today, but whatever. That's fine. We can ignore that. I don't know how to start. Okay, so the plot is these people accidentally find this really weird family of murderers. And they're not all the same. Like, when I think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I always think of Leatherface. That's it. That's all I think about is Leatherface. There's like 5 killers in this movie. There's like 5 of them, a whole family of them. And I'm curious to see if we get any of those in this movie. I think we will. I think we'll have to, I think, right? Like, we have to touch on those. Like, is it canon still that they have family? And do we get to see them? I don't know. I'm curious to see, because I like the other characters more than Leatherface, honestly. Not really sure how Leatherface became the head of the company, but whatever. But in this one, Leatherface just has a chainsaw, and he's walking around and he's killing some people. That's really it. No one else really kills anyone. They're just there to be creepy. The dialogue in this movie is really weird. It's really campy, which is what I expect from the 70s. And the gore is a little campy too, which is what I expect from the 70s. But the movie is, like, well shot. Like, I will say that for a movie in the 70s, it feels well shot, and it feels like a movie that I could make now. Like, it feels like I could take my iPhone, and I could go out there in the woods, and I could shoot this in a couple days, and have it be about the same quality, which is cool for me in terms of the creative standpoint of me, like, being like, oh, I could do that. That's really cool. But it's also bad thinking, like, oh, I could do that. Like, it kind of lowers its credibility a little bit, but it is from the 70s, so I give it some credit there. But these villains are boring as shit. They have no personality at all. The Hitchhiker was the best part of this film. From the first part of this film, they have this Hitchhiker that comes on. He's like the brother to Leatherface or some shit. And like, he's really cool. I liked him as a character a whole lot. I thought it was really brilliant. His dialogue was fun, and it helped us get to know our good guys, which, like, almost all of them die, like, immediately. So we don't have any emotional connection to them. But then Leatherface is like, I have a chainsaw, and that's all you get to know about him. I hope they develop something in the next one. They won't, but I hope they do. I really do. But yeah, I don't have much else to say other than the ending was awful. They have this really cool, like, chainsaw battle with, like, a truck and, like, another truck. And then at the end, What's-Her-Face gets away. I think it was, like, Sally or something like that. She gets away. And then the Texas Chainsaw guy, the Leatherface, is like, "Rrrr!" And he's, like, throwing his chainsaw around, like, dancing in the sunlight. And then they roll the credits. I started laughing so hard. I'm like, they couldn't have given us any other ending. Like, this is how I want to read the script for this. I want it to be like, and as she drives away, Leatherface raises his chainsaw and begins a smooth dance in the sunlight. Roll credits. Like, that's like, I want to read it. I want to know what it says. So that's what I'm imagining. I thought it was dumb. I was laughing really hard. But overall, I mean, it's a 70s movie. I can't dock it too much because it does... First of all, it created tropes for the horror genre. It really did. Like, it's tangible. I'm like, wow, they have so many choices. I bet they're going to choose the wrong one, and they always do. And that's something that you have to kind of get used to when you're watching horror movies of pretty much any time period nowadays. But this one feels like it was the first, so good for you. Make better villains, though. Make them interesting. Give them some dialogue. Give them some reason to be bad other than that they're crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and give the Texas Chainsaw Massacre a C. Have you guys seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about it. It is on Showtime if you wanted to catch that before the Netflix one comes out this week. I think it's this week, might be next week, I don't remember. But definitely consider doing that if you want to follow the canon. You don't have to follow the canon at all. I'm just doing it because I feel like you would want me to. So, there you are. And please consider subscribing if you're not already. It really helps out a whole lot, so please consider doing that if you like what you saw before and you want to see more. Definitely subscribe and follow along. And as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.